There we go. We should be up.
We're not.
Well, I mean, even low latency is going to be like some latency. It says I've been alive. It says alive. It says I've been live for 11 seconds. So maybe we are now.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. All right. Welcome, anybody who's here. Nope.
Don't do the welcome yet. It's not time.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear us.
Nice. That's always good. Okay, I should probably just get in.
I would just make sure it's not doing weird looping things.
Yeah.
Yeah, say something.
Hello, it is me, Traben, host of Traben's Tomes.
$11.
Okay.
It's much shorter.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, I can do ultra low latency, but I'm really worried about that, and I don't trust it.
Why are you worried about it?
I mean, once we get fiber, maybe not, but right now, just don't trust that it's gonna
work.
Keep up. Yeah, I don't want it to suddenly like fail. All right. Well, it is now. Oh no, not quite. Almost. Got a minute. So what do you? Oh no, can't talk about it yet.
I mean, we could. We just talk about it again.
Oh, it's 11:59. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
I'm not hearing any weird looping. So.
What are you doing? What are you doing? And by that I mean, like, what are you working on tonight? Not like...
You want to introduce now?
Oh, yes. Hello, I am Traben of Traben's Tomes. This is my channel. I talk about books and stuff, or do, like, bookish things. I wasn't sure tonight if I wanted to work on my book journaling, or if I wanted to work on my book nook, but I have opted for the book nook, because I did get some journaling done earlier today. I got some reading done with the reading sprints over at Astral Library. So, but you, viewer, are welcome to do whatever it is that you're needing to take care of. Arts, crafts, reading. We will be doing, I think, 45-15 splits today. So we'll do 45 minutes of...
Where's the button?
It's this thing.
Oh.
We'll do 45 minutes of whatever work we need to do, reading sprints, working on projects, whatever, and then 15 minutes of chatting. I'm going to go see if I can get the timer working, or if it's going to be difficult like it was last week, and Amanda will explain whatever she is working on.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I have a channel over at Amanda Should Be Reading where I talk about books and stuff. We're super original. I'm going to be working on building some Lego superheroes. I have Nightwing and Red Hood that I purchased. I'm going to put those together, and then depending on how quickly I finish that and how much shaking of the table is going on with the book nook assembly, I will possibly either read... I'm reading 2 books right now. I'm reading Kitaro manga and my Watching TV with a Linguist, which is my next 25 for 25 book. This one is a little bit more dense, a little bit more brain power required, but I want to at least finish my chapter. So I might read one of these, or I might work on my book journal, of which I have started very little of, but needs to be worked on. So depending on time, I might work on that as well. Or I might stare into space and contemplate everything that's happening in the world and just be very sad for a while. Let's not do that.
All right. Well, I did get the timer working.
Timer.
Yeah. So last week this was not going well for us, but this week, by the random computer gods, we do in fact have a timer up for discussions and then also for the sprints. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing today is making books, because I am building a crazy library with a dinosaur in it. So I kind of want to get to the dinosaur, but before I do that,
you want to show that image?
I gotta fill these services up with books. So there's kind of what it's going to look like. That's like a third of it. There's a bunch of stuff on the side too that you have to fill in. It's got like light all through it. Very cool. Much larger than my last one. It was a Christmas gift. I'm very excited to get to it. But like I was saying, I have to build all the books. So this is each one of these squares, or each one of these rectangles, is a book I have to build. And then this paper here, so it has like 5 sheets of stickers.
Oh my gosh.
And all of these stickers, all of these are just books that I have to build to put on the shelves. So I don't know if it's going to be particularly like exciting, but I need to build enough to at least get on these shelves so I can build the dinosaur. That's my goal.
Well, some of these have writing on them too.
I'm hoping we're dinosaur complete.
Some of these are actual books.
Yeah, and what's weird is like for a lot of them, you're going to end up gluing them together. And so you're going to lose all this detail, but it's really cool to think like the detail's there. And also you are given a bit of freedom with like how you assemble it. So like you could, because the books are stacked, like some are on their sides and some are stacked up vertically and some are facing outward. And you can decide, you know, as long as you fill up the space, like how you're going to organize them. But yeah, I also learned a valuable lesson last week in that my Gorilla Super Glue gel is leaving like really bad white prints. Like it's eating away at the veneer. So I'm going to be using the provided glue.
Be aware you do have 2 different sizes of book covers.
Oh, I am aware.
Okay.
Not only do I have 2 different sizes of book covers, I've got 2 different types of books that I can put them on. So like there's R1 and R2, and one has like a little nub on the bottom because some of them are going to have to fit into pegs. So I have to be careful assembling. But for right now, I'm just putting together L1s. So it's papers 2, 3, and 4. So like everything on this page, well, 2
has book covers B and book covers C.
Well, they're all like, I'm doing book cover C, so I need to stick with these.
Stick with the bigger ones.
And then like these whole sheets.
Yeah.
That I have to put together, and I'm just doing the ones that are just regular rectangles. So
that one too.
Again, no, this one has. Oh, this is book cover C.
Yeah, that one's book cover C as well.
This says paper 2, 3, 4. Huh? It doesn't mention 5.
Well, those ones are all like not real books, so did they just give you the option?
Maybe. It does still say book cover C. I don't know.
Check your directions and see if you see another one in there.
Yeah, but again, like all I need to do is make sure that I'm using the ones that as long as they're labeled book cover C, they should be fine.
Yeah.
So
I guess just prioritize the ones you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know. It's not going to be particularly exciting, but it's one of those things you got to kind of get out of the way at the beginning to make sure that, you know, you have books. So, yeah. And you're building which 2?
Nightwing and Red Hood.
And are these like official Lego products?
Oh no, these are almost certainly bootlegs.
Oh, okay, neat. How did you come across them?
I bought them on Etsy.
All right, that's cool.
And Nightwing is my favorite superhero, and Red Hood is right up there. I don't know that he's my second favorite, but I really like the dynamics between Dick and Jason, so I like them as a pair because they're very different from each other. Okay. They like play off each other well with the way they like have different outlooks. So.
Is that true in the comics as well, or is it? I know you read a lot of fan fiction.
I do read a lot of fan fiction. It is true in the comics to an extent, but Jason is such a crapshoot in the comics because he changes so much with different authors. Yeah. Fanon Jason is honestly superior to canon Jason a lot of the time. But yeah, if you look at like their outlooks and their backgrounds and the way they approach things, they are very different in how they approach a situation.
Okay.
So they are very interesting, like different sides of the same coin, and how they've come around and their relationships to other people in the Bat family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're very interesting characters. And Dick Grayson, Nightwing, and his time as Robin, he's my favorite. So.
I do remember reading comics, like the Batman comics back in like the early 2000s when we were picking up a lot of like the mainstream stuff. And I am impressed with how they've managed to make each Robin not only like an aspect of Batman's characterization, but also like their own person with their own like positives and negatives, their own strengths and weaknesses, and I do like seeing them play off of each other. I remember the Robin run being really good. Like you being kind of down on it at the beginning, but then there's that scene where he like falls out the window.
Red Robin? Oh yeah. I always say that I owe the author of that Red Robin run an apology, because at the beginning of the run, when we were doing the Batman RIP stuff and Bruce was dead for a while and Tim became Red Robin, I hated the entire concept. And the interviews I read with the author, I was like, he doesn't understand Tim Drake at all. And though Tim isn't here, only because they didn't make one, like Tim was my first Robin in comics that I read. Like I knew Dick Grayson from a lot of other media, but Tim was the first one I had read the comics of, because he was Robin when I started reading comics. And I was like, this guy doesn't understand Tim. He doesn't know what Tim's about. He has Tim going off on his own and doing all these things, and he doesn't understand. None of this is accurate.
Get it.
And by the end of the 12-issue run of that 12-issue arc, like, boy, did he nail Tim Drake. It was so good. The end of that arc was so satisfying, and I still say that I should write him an apology letter, even though I never did anything silly like writing hate mail or anything. Like, I always feel like I should write him a letter that just says, "Hey, I totally didn't think you had this, but my God, did you have this?" Because he really, the end was so satisfying with how much he got Tim Drake and his relationship to everybody, and I think he wanted to show Tim on his own and like broken down. But the end of that arc really cements how interconnected Tim is to the other people that he's close to. It was just so good. It was so good.
Yeah, it's so funny that you're talking about like, oh, this guy doesn't know this character. It's such a weird thing for like mainline comics, because it would be absolutely insane to tell like Sanderson or like anybody who's writing a book, like, you don't know the character that you're literally created and writing.
Because none of them created it. Mainstream comics are all fan fiction.
Yeah,
they're just officially sanctioned fan fiction. Because none of these people created these characters. They change on a whim with whoever's writing them and whatever editorial wants to do with them at the time. So mainstream comics are very much... It's really easy getting into fan fiction when you're a fan of comics, because comics are already basically fan fiction, just someone is paying them to write the fan fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I agree with everything you're saying. I just think it's such a funny...
It is.
Quirk about...
corporate owned entities.
Yeah, this concept that you don't own.
Well, and it would be the same if you were reading like a novelization of a movie or a TV show.
Yeah,
because I used to read the Smallville novels, and I'm pretty sure one of the novels didn't know that one of the characters was black.
Interesting,
because they had him filling in for Clark Kent, and like people thought it was him, and I'm like, did they like, which has happened in the comics with the character that guy was named after from the comics.
Okay.
But I think they missed the memo that in the show they cast him, that he was portrayed by a black actor. So it did not work for Pete. I think his name was Pete. It did not work for Pete to be standing in for Clark and making people think he was somewhere, because they look literally nothing alike at all in the show. But I think whoever wrote that book didn't get that memo. Yeah. So it was so weird to read and be like, did you watch the show?
I do remember being frustrated with the Pacific Rim novelization, because one of the things I do really appreciate about Pacific Rim is the relationship between Mako and Is it Raleigh?
I think it's Raleigh.
Being open to interpretation, and I choose to interpret it as like not a romantic relationship, but like when you have a novel and you can like get in the characters' heads, it kind of puts a kibosh on that, and I did not like that. I did not like the inability of the author to
it puts it more front and center too. Like,
yeah,
it removes any ability to interpret when you're in someone's head. You can't interpret anything. You are told, this is how I am feeling.
Yeah. So I remember that being a frustration. And I think at the end they actually like kiss, and I'm like, that's like the whole point. I'm pretty sure that like that was 100% intentional. There's even that
they won't
the honest trailers that was like in the first time, and will they, won't they don't.
Yeah,
and I really appreciated that about that movie, and then they just took it away. So
yeah, comics are a weird beast, but yeah, so I definitely think fan fiction is like just as valid as any comic in terms of canon, because like I said, it's all fan fiction. It's just,
yeah, I mean, I read a lot more like Independence, where it's creator owned.
Yeah,
and I think that is, from what I have seen online recently, I try to follow a little bit of the comic book space on BookTube as well.
Yeah,
because I read quite a few comics, but my understanding is that is a trend that's happening in the comic book space, is moving toward independence, and like the Marvel and DC markets are not as big as they used to be.
Well, and it's so much less frustrating too, because when you're reading something that's creator owned, you know that they're not going to get a better offer and leave the comic, and someone else is going to take over and completely ignore the previous storyline.
But it also makes me curious if that's the reason why we're seeing trends like the Absolute line with DC, and then the Ultimate line coming back in. Well, I don't think it's the same Ultimate universe, but it's still Ultimate X-Men or Ultimate Spider-Man, where you don't have the weight of the continuity.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something comics have been doing for a while, right? Mm-hmm. It's all cyclical. Yeah. They always come back to this idea of, here's a jumping on point, here's a place you don't need to worry about the continuity. When they did the New 52, that was supposed to be, you don't have to worry about continuity, you jump in, everything's new except for the stuff we decided to keep that got really muddy. But the corporate idea of it was that it was a great place to start.
Yeah.
When Marvel did all those issues 1 in the middle of their runs, because those were supposed to be a good place to start.
Yeah, but if you look at something like Peach Momoko's like Demon Wars or Demon Days, where it's like that's it. Like it's just those two.
It's like an Elseworld.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm seeing a lot more of that, and I'm wondering if they're trying to tap into that feeling of like doing something, like having these characters that you're familiar with and comfortable with, but doing something weird with them, and like giving their creators a bit more control, because Peach Momoko is clearly influencing both Demon Days, Demon Wars, and now Ultimate X-Men. Like, she's infusing it with a lot of Japanese culture.
Well, and I wonder if there's also a thing that standalone trades are selling better. So that you want something like Demon Days or Demon Wars that are removed, because those sell better and have a longer shelf life than Doctor Strange Volume 17. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it's also a shift to these things that you can market for longer periods of time on the trade shelf. Yeah. That the comic book shops and the bookstores are willing to keep around longer because they're not out of date or going to be out of date as the continuity moves forward. Mm-hmm. If they're standalone outside of time and they're just using these characters, maybe they sell better. I don't know.
Might be an interesting idea for a video to look at the like development of American comics versus Japanese comics. I'm very curious how Japan got the way it is. It's completely different.
Well, it relies more on the periodicals and the disposable nature of the collections of comics. So
yeah, and each of those has like a vibe to it. Like, you know, when you pick up a Shonen Jump comic, like kind of the feel of it, and
Zero Sum had a vibe. Yeah. Shonen Gangan had a vibe.
Yeah, but I feel like the creators have a lot more control over certain things. So,
I don't know. Or did it just feel like that because we're used to?
Who knows? Like, again, it would be something interesting to look into.
Okay, enough yapping.
Yeah, it is in fact time, and now I'm gonna try to switch over to my other timer, and we'll get the 45-minute one going. So let me pull it up here. We'll get the music going too, and then we'll shut up. So there we go.
Who should I build first, Nightwing or Red Hood?
Nightwing.
Okay.
And we're back. Need to put on the other timer. Timer 2. And
yes, I can hear us.
Timer 2. Well, look at the load.
I mean, a little Nightwing. He's not done yet. You can't see him from here. I'll have help in a second.
There we go. All right, timer's up. I put together a bunch of books, like
so many books.
So many books. So let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the whole page is 60, and I got through a whole page, plus what was on the initial sheet, plus almost half of this one. I think I'm gonna finish up this sheet, and then I'm going to probably start putting stuff together. Because I wanted to have some variety, since there's a lot of doubles in here. I was trying to hold them up to the screen as I was going along, but we have, like, actual books in here. There was like Lord of the Rings is in here. We've got Harry Potter.
Great Gatsby. A Twilight book. Yeah. A Harry Potter book.
Harry Potter fan fiction.
Yeah, of several volumes of Harry Potter fan fiction. You can see
like very, very tiny Lord of the Rings there. And then like a tiny Harry Potter book. So, and the thing about it is, like, a good number of these are going to just get, like, skished together.
No.
And put on a shelf. Are you okay?
I dropped a piece.
All right. Do you need help, or are you okay?
I don't know. Here. Show off. Oh, there he is. I see it. Okay, I'm fine.
So, yeah, like, a number of these are just going to get skished together, and, like, you're just going to see their spines. But, like, the amount of detail they went into, and I suppose if you really like a book, you can make sure that it's, like, one on display.
Facing out.
Yeah, facing out.
All right, you could show my 90% done Nightwing.
90% done Nightwing. Just the one side of
Just the one side of hair.
So one side of hair needs to be done. But look at him, he's so cute. Yeah. So yeah, I'm impressed with the detail on it. I think the last one I did had the same thing where there was just like a lot of detail for these pieces that you're barely going to see. But I really do appreciate it. I think it's very cool. Yeah, we have a bunch of copies of, what was it? All the young dudes.
All the young dudes, and we were like, "What is that?"
It was a whole.
It was a lot.
It was like it was more than 10. So I think there's like 12 copies of it in here, and it is apparently a Harry Potter fan fiction about what?
The Marauders. It was told from the perspective of Remus Lupin, so it's Harry Potter's dad. When he was a student.
Sure.
With his friends.
There were so many, and they had different covers. It was all like, I'm like, what is this? Why are there so many of this one? So yeah, right next to like C.S. Lewis and
lots of C.S. Lewis, yeah.
Tolkien, Great Gatsby, Phantom of the Opera, like all these classics, and then
all the young dudes.
All the young dudes, and a bunch of them too. So I thought that was kind of funny.
And I told him he should make a TBR from these books that he hasn't heard of and read. So if you agree, get in the comments to tell him that he needs to make a TBR video for this so that he can read.
So I think I want to finish up the end of this sheet. This last one is Mage Wars. 100% this is the Mage Wars logo. That is a board game. This one right here, I swear, is Mage Wars. I will look that up, but I'm almost certain. So that's really funny. And like some of it's nonfiction. Clearly, we're fine with whatever we could get, and I guess whatever was available.
I don't even think it's whatever was available. I'm sure these aren't licensed. There's no way Harry Potter agreed to be in this book nook and only got one actual book right next to a bunch of Harry Potter fan fiction.
I'm just wondering then why only the third book?
Just whoever was making the image, that's the only image they pulled up. Maybe they only like that cover. Maybe they're like all the other Harry Potter covers, mid.
So please feel free to jump in the comments and let us know, what are you working on? Yeah, what are you working on tonight? What are you trying to get done? We're gonna do at least one more spread. I don't know if we can push 3.
I don't know.
It would be very late, and also I think the camera would die before that happened. So
I think they gave me all of 2 extra pieces for this.
Okay. That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Yeah. The Lego sets I've been building recently have had like a handful, but and I think they tend to just give you copies of the smallest.
Yeah,
pieces.
they tend to give you pieces of the itty bitties in case you drop one. This was very stressful when I started realizing, oh, there's exactly 2 of this piece that is clearly the eye. There's exactly 2 of these. Oh no, I need both of these. So nope, there's only 1 piece that was extra. That was one that wasn't in the bag either. That was one that was like, it was in this bag, but it was outside of the little bags.
Interesting.
So I'm wondering if that was just like a mistake, because that's not a very important piece.
Yeah.
But then I had that other piece that wasn't in the bag that was important. So maybe like they just thought they forgot to put that piece in and they tried to put them in the bag. Okay, I think he's done.
So, okay, very cool. How much like obviously he can't stand up, but like
no,
what
his arms can move and his feet can move.
Arms and feet can move. He's just gonna rest on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, you want to show him off to the camera now that he's done. So he was 54 steps. He was an easy build. The directions were very clear, and
the wavy hair.
I love his hair. The hair is so detailed. Like. What a fun detail that they could have just made him blockheaded. But, like, they gave him his luscious locks. I think Red Hood will be slightly easier because he is wearing a helmet. So his helmet will likely be, like, you won't have all this detailing on the top where the hair is asymmetrical. Like, it'll be probably fairly uniform.
Yeah.
So I imagine, I already looked and I know that Red Hood is about 10 less steps. But I thought the directions were very clear. I think he's really cute.
Very nice.
I'm very happy with my build.
All right. As we are ostensibly a booktube channel.
Yes.
What are you reading right now?
I just started watching TV with a linguist, which is a nonfiction book about the back says it is an introduction to linguistics through the lens of TV. I would slightly disagree. Okay. The sections I've read so far are very academically dense. While they do define terms, this is not a book I would give to a 101 linguistics student. I think if you're used to reading academic level text, this is dense but not incomprehensible. Even if you don't know the linguistic terms, they do define everything, but it is very it's all very academic. It's not written for a layperson or like as an introductory text would be. Like even introductory textbooks are a bit more conversational in terms of how they explain things. This is, we expect that you are an academic reading this, but I think like an anthropologist or sociologist, other people who would be interested in language and how it works, who aren't linguistics minded, would enjoy this book. My first chapter is about the discourse in Sherlock.
Okay.
So it's been talking about how like Sherlock defies certain things. Like there was a whole part about how he knows that he isn't worried about saving face of himself or others in conversation, which is normally something we do. We try to save our face and other people's face. And Sherlock just doesn't do that. But he is self-aware, so it seems to be something he could do but chooses not to.
Okay. Because
he is self-aware of it.
Yeah.
And it is a little rough because I haven't read anything academic in a while. So and the sentences are very dense and very long. So it is taking me a bit more time to read. But this was one of my 25 for 2025. And I'm happy to be reading more linguistic stuff. But this is one that would be difficult to recommend to it will not be a recommend for everybody. It would be a recommend to people who are very specifically interested in this exact thing.
Okay.
What are you reading right now?
I'm currently reading 2 things. I'm reading The Dagger and the Flame as I'm going through my Fairy Loot backlog. It's like the second to last one we did the video for like doing the first line.
It's 7?
I'm pretty sure it's 7, yeah, because
Wow.
because I've just got The Girl with No Reflection, and I've got the 2 new ones that we've gotten since then.
That's impressive. You moved through those pretty quickly.
Yeah, my goal is to get through the whole thing by end of February, so I only have to like do one.
So that's 3 more after this one.
Yes.
That shouldn't be too bad for you as long as you don't hit like a huge slump.
Yeah, hopefully. As with most of the Fairy Loot things, most of the Fairy Loot books, it is a mixed bag because on one hand, I like the world building and I think the setup is very cool and has a lot of potential for like really good storytelling. But the execution is something that I'm not a huge fan of. Romanticy is still very big, and
he's very tired of characters commenting on how hot the love interest is the instant they meet when they are in the middle of mortal peril. Yeah. Which has happened more than once.
And so many of them start off like it's enemies to lovers, and this one at least.
But are they really enemies or
this one? Yes.
Okay.
Like I will give it credit that at least this one they
have a reason to be enemies.
I mean, they're from rival factions, and like he's literally trying to kill her the first time that they like run across each other. But that makes the like, oh my god, his muscles were so ripply.
Oh, he's so hot as he tries to kill me.
Even more off-putting than it would be in like a normal situation. And then, like, so I feel like a lot of these romances would benefit if they would cut out the like instant attraction at the start like let it develop, because when it's later on when they've actually had a chance to like talk to each other and they've like actually developed a relationship, then it makes more sense.
It's funny because I was talking to you about Dungeons and Drama and how I didn't think they did that. They didn't say that Nathan was like super hot. But I do feel like later in the book, after they've been fake dating for a while, she mentions that like, oh, you know, he actually is pretty cute. Like, I actually do really like his eyes or whatever. Like, I'm noticing these little things about him now, which I think sounds like what you're asking for is let's not say how hot we are immediately and let's develop it.
Well, and I feel like that's more, I don't know, that feels more realistic to me for some reason. Just like, you know, gradual attraction and not like, I don't know.
And why does everyone in a young adult book have to be super hot?
Yeah.
Why can't they just be attractive to you? Why can't it just like, why do they have to be like the first thing you remark on?
Well, and the other issue I'm grappling with right now is that there was like a reveal, I'd say about 3/4 of the way through, that was like I didn't see it coming, but also like it doesn't really impact the story for me very much. I don't really care. And it confuses something that came very early on because it's centered around
motivations.
Yeah, it's centered around motivations. Like the setup, and like you can read this on the back of the book, so I don't feel like it's a spoiler, is her mother her mother gets killed and her farmhouse burns down and she has to like escape into the city. And it has to do with like you were saying, the motivations for that happening. And at the beginning she was like, why is this happening now? Like what is going on? And then when she makes this big reveal at the end or toward the end, she's like, and that's exactly why all these events have happened. And I'm like, okay.
So it's not even that she knew but wasn't telling the reader. It's that she knew, acted like she didn't know, and then was like, yep, I knew the whole time.
Yeah, it's really weird. I went back and read chapter 1 again, and like I thought she was saying like, oh, why is this happening? And it's not quite that bad. Her question that she repeats is like, why is this happening now? Why did this happen now? And like and why the fire? That was like a big question that she had.
Do you think that was intentional so that they could do the reveal later with you not knowing that she knew? Do you think that was the author doing some trickery to get you to assume that she didn't know this thing that was revealed later?
I don't know.
Or do you feel it's just ambiguous?
I don't know. I do think I have every reason to believe that the author wrote the book with the intention of having this like reveal be later.
But do you think they wanted you to think something else, or do you think they just played that part close to the chest?
I think they just played it close to the chest. I don't think there was never.
And it was just unintentionally ambiguous that she didn't know the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's no point where you're like led to believe something else or like.
But you can clearly read it that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because of her questionings.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then clearly at the end, like she clearly does know, and that was what
I could see that being very off-putting when you've assumed based on what you have.
And the other issue is like it's a big question at the beginning, and then it kind of gets like subsumed over all these other problems we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so when it comes out,
there's more immediate problems that need to be dealt with.
So when it comes out at the end, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I remember." Like that was also supposed to be a thing.
That was also a question. Yeah.
Like I said, it was surprising, but it was also just like it doesn't really impact the story for me. And I can definitely see people having a completely different reaction to it. And it might just be because I'm not driving with it, but it's just not. It's not going great. Yeah, I heard it. Okay. I heard it. So
I did not hear it. So
we will start up the music again, and we will get back into our work.
I'm gonna build a Red Hood.
I'm gonna finish up this set of books, and I'm gonna start actually putting them on shelves. If I can. Mute us.
I don't think we're muted.
We're not muted?
Nope, I can still hear a computer clicking and I can hear me now.
And we're back for our last bit of chatting. So, what did I accomplish today? Well, as promised at the beginning of the stream, I made a lot of books, and then I put those books on shelves. So I'm now officially done with putting all the books on these shelves.
So what are the rest of the books for?
There are a lot of shelves.
Oh, you finished these shelves.
Finished these shelves. There's still going to be shelves up here and over here.
Okay.
There's a lot of books. And I also put these little like open books that are kind of cool. And now I'm struggling with this sticker. It's supposed to be like a curtain behind the dinosaur. So, yeah.
I made a Nightwing and I made a Red Hood. Red Hood was a more straightforward build because he didn't have the hair. But I am really impressed by all the details, like the way they do his mask. He's glaring. Did you show the camera? When did I finish?
I showed the camera the glaring.
He's glaring, and he has little gun holsters on his thighs, which I thought were really cute. He has little knee pads. I was really impressed because I figured these builds would be more or less very similar. I figured they would have very similar bases and just like swapped out where colors go, but that they would be pretty much the same in terms of like body shape. Except for maybe the heads, but actually they're very different, and I'm really impressed. Like, even the base when I was building them ended up being very different based on how they're, like, even like the very first steps were very different, so I was impressed. Jason is very round, and Dick is very spiky because of his hair.
Yeah, I thought the spiky hair was fun.
But I like how they are able to achieve so much with the Lego pieces. Like, there's a lot of really fun, unique pieces that they were able to use to achieve some of this, which I think is really cool. I think they will look really cute on the shelf.
Where are you going to set them?
Well, I'm probably going to, when we redo the comic book shelf, when we officially move all the manga. Mm-hmm. And then we redo the one shelf that has the Japanese manga and make that whole thing the comic shelf. I'm going to put all my stuff on that shelf.
Okay.
Like, I figure we'll move the manga-related stuff over to the manga shelf. Yeah. And that will give us some room for comic book-related knickknacks on the comic book shelf.
Probably, yes.
So, that was my plan, because I'm currently kind of out of room for more stuff on the DC shelf. But DC might need 2 shelves now, based on the fact that we keep buying DC comic stuff. The DC shelf wasn't full, but it was getting there. And I feel like with the additional stuff we've bought since the last time we actually reorganized our comics, it will need 2 shelves now. Okay. Probably not 2 full shelves. I might be able to put the comic book novels that I have on that shelf. Yeah. I might be able to put those with the DC. Okay. But, yeah. And then I know, like, you have some stuff that... We have the one shelf that was Marvel and Massiveverse, which might work if it doesn't also have the oversized stuff on it. But, like, that stuff doesn't fit anymore. Okay. So, like, we're going to have to rearrange and figure out what we want where and what we want together, and do you want your Energon Universe stuff together? The answer is probably yes.
Probably yes.
So we'll have to find a place to put that. Although that one isn't that big yet, so that might also fit on the Marvel Supermassive shelf. Because if I move the oversized comics, yeah. We need to reorganize our comic book shelf, but we were waiting till we got a new shelf for manga, and we got that at Christmas, and we just haven't sat down and redone it. Partially because a good amount of our manga, we have several volumes of comics that are on loan to friends. Like the first 15 volumes of Walking Dead, I lent to a friend. And I don't want to redo the comics with what I have and not leave enough room and then have to redo them again to make everything fit. So I'm just kind of waiting on getting those back. And the other various volumes we've lent friends, just to try to get the majority of them back before we sit down and reorganize the comic shelf how we want it because we have a lot of comics. I could probably do an Usagi Yojimbo shelf at this point. I maybe should do an Usagi Yojimbo shelf.
Yeah. I know you've got lots of different runs from that one.
Yeah, I've got the original Fantagraphics box set. I've got the Dark Horse big compendiums. I've got the Image Comics recolors. I've got the cover book. So I've got a lot of stuff. I don't know that it would be a whole shelf, but it's going to be a lot no matter if it's in with other stuff or on its own. It's going to be a lot. So
okay. Alrighty.
Where are you going to put this when you finish it?
Where am I going to put this?
Yeah.
Probably in the one in the bedroom.
Okay.
I just can't think of anywhere else that it would possibly even go.
Well, there's room on that shelf, so.
All right. Well, that was ridiculous, but looks nice.
Oh, good. So. I'm glad you got it on. I know the stickers can be very finicky.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, yeah. Definitely we'll have Dino on the next time that I do this, which might be next week. We'll see. So, tentative plan is that next week we're going to play a book-centric tabletop role-playing game.
Oh, did we confirm that?
Yeah, our friend said that he'd be able to come over sometime next week. I'm just trying to figure out if he's going to be able to come over Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
And depending on the day, then I might still do a stream the other day to do more of this. Otherwise, I feel like this is going to fall the wayside. I'm not going to finish it because it's a lot. Like, I like setting aside time to do this each week.
Yeah.
But the role playing game we're playing is, I'm trying to remember the name.
I don't know.
But basically,
the book one.
Yeah, it's a book one. Well, there's several book ones, but this one is you have a book. Everybody has a book, and I thought the instructions said you don't show your reader the book, but you do.
Okay.
They suggest a fantasy book, so I know you're holding that up like you're using this. But what it is, the premise is that you're all novice mages, and the book you bring is your spell book. And so when you come across a obstacle or some problem that you have to solve, you have to quickly open up the book and find a noun, a verb, and an adjective. And you are allowed to put ly at the end of words to...
Coffee kissing anticlimactically.
Coffee kissing anticlimactically? Yeah.
Oh, no, hippie kissing anticlimactically. That one's better.
Hippie kissing. Well, yeah, but the idea is you only have a couple of seconds to do it, right? But hippie kissing anticlimactically.
I did it very fast.
So basically, that's your spell, and then you have to
figure out what it does.
Yeah, interpret what the spell does. Those words have to be significant to it, and then there are rules for if you're unclear if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or if you just need a prompt to move it forward of something happening. But generally that's it, and so we're gonna play a bunch of wizard kids who don't know what they're doing. I thought a good premise would be that we're at a magical school and the adults are away. We've been put in charge and we're going to throw a party. So that way, I feel like that's rife for good problems to come across, and also feels true to the spirit of the game, which is basically that you're in over your head and you don't quite know what you're doing, but you're trying your best.
So we need to throw a party and clean it up before mom and dad get home?
Yeah, basically that was the idea, and I thought that would be fun. So I floated that idea to our friend. He hasn't responded back. I assume that means he's good with it.
When did you message him?
It was last week.
Oh, okay.
But I messaged him again this week, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get back to you." And so so we might have up to 4 players for that one next week, and then I'll probably do a productivity stream on the day that we're not doing that, and then some week soon. I want to play the game that's down here, which is Athenaeum Mystic Library, where you are arranging books. Athenaeum. Where you're arranging books in a magical library.
Mystical library.
And you're getting points.
Oh, I bought this one.
Yes, and we've not played it yet. It's not even punched out yet.
It's not?
It's not. It's not punched out. So we need to do that. And yeah, I thought that'd be another fun one to play. There's also a game called...
This is where we have to like organize your bookshelves.
Yes, I literally said that.
I was reading.
There's also another tabletop role-playing game called Death of the Author, where you play both an author and a self-aware character within the work of that author, and the self-aware character is like trying to get out or trying to change their story.
What's the movie that's the premise of?
I think there was one called Adaptation.
I don't know.
With Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was called Adaptation. I could be wrong.
He could like hear his author.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that idea is present in a couple of different things. I'm watching a Let's Play of it right now to try to get like a sense of how it works. It also uses a tarot card set for its resolution. So I have that's the things. The tarot card deck is up there next to the Tower of Babel, Tarot of the Divine.
Do you want me to get it?
Yeah, get it. It's literally right there. Yeah. So this is my tarot card set from Yoshitani. Another one of my artists that I really love to see their stuff. I know she did the Zatanna like YA comic. That was her.
The YA one or the middle grade one?
The one, the haunted house one.
The House of Secrets?
House of Secrets.
The middle grade one.
Middle grade. So yeah,
the young reader one.
The young reader.
Oh, that was her? Okay.
That was Yoshitani. So I know she does some art for comics. Her art that she does on her own is like very adult. Tends to be very adult. But this is a beautiful tarot card set, and that's what I will be using when I get around to playing that game. So, and then sprinkled in there, we'll keep doing productivity streams. We'll keep doing reading sprints. But yeah, I feel like I'm proud of what I got accomplished today.
I'm very happy with what I accomplished today. I built two little guys.
Yeah, I put some books on shelves, which doesn't sound very exciting, but if you go back and watch my my first Book Nook build, which is like a sped up video.
Yeah.
The very beginning of that is just me like literally like throwing down a whole bunch of books.
I remember when you were doing that.
So yeah, it's just it's one of the things that you got to do it because it's a library, so it's got a whole bunch of little finicky pieces. So yeah, but no, I'm proud of what I got accomplished today. I can start building the dinosaur,
which is what you really want.
What I really want. And then I got to start building out the other parts of the building.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I am frustrated with this is that every time I move it, I've got to drag all the lights and the battery pack with it, and it's so awkward.
Because you had to collect that so early.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to collect the other? I don't feel like you had to collect the other one nearly this early.
No, it was the very first thing that I did.
Oh,
but
was it?
It had a section in the back. This one does too, where like the battery rests.
Okay.
But in the other build, it was like separated from it, and you could like house it in there and close it up early.
Ah.
And then so it was just the wires that were kind of out the back. But this one,
it's just open.
Yeah, eventually they're gonna have to run up here through like a tunnel you create and like go out to all the bits.
Yeah.
So, it's just very frustrating to work with. The glue I'm also not super impressed with, but I think it's just because it doesn't set very quickly. Like I was touching them now, and they feel better.
Yeah.
But it's it was very finicky trying to make like stacks of books, and so I was having much better luck when I got over here. I was just putting like one at a time, get the side, get the bottom, put it on, press it down for a couple of seconds
instead of trying to do a whole.
Instead of trying to make a stack and then put that on there. So, but it turned out very nice, and yeah. I like the setup. So very cool. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. I still want to finish my book, but we don't have I don't have time for.
I don't have battery life for another
sprint. No, but I am gonna finish it. I'm like less than 100 pages away. So, trying to think if there's anything else we need to talk about.
What videos do you have coming up on your channel?
So I've actually been like not recording very much, but I want to do a January wrap up. I'd like to talk about something I've read recently. I'm a little nervous about talking about Between the World and Me. I could talk about Gideon Falls, possibly.
That was your best book of the month, so that
was my best book of the month. Yeah. So yeah, I might do something like that. And then I need to get some more reviews out. Like I need to start reviewing books.
I was thinking that I want to do reviews for both of the longer books I read. I've read 3 text-based books, and I could do reviews on all of them. But I have my 25 for 25 that I'm going to put up soon. And then I did a reading vlog for the last week of January where I read a whole bunch of short stuff, graphic novels, manga, and a novella. Trying to get my January numbers up, which I succeeded very, very well.
Yeah, you were only one book behind me.
Yeah, and that, which is rare.
Yeah,
you just read a lot more text-based books.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to get through those.
But and then I'm going to combine that with my January wrap up, since so much of what I read is in that video. It would be really silly for me to be like, "Here's what I think of this," and of like a dozen books, and then have another video where I immediately talk about how I felt about those dozen books again. Yeah. So I'm going to combine those 2 into one video.
I might also film something like a tag.
Yeah, I want to get some tags out. I know there's a bookmark tag.
You were talking about
that I saw.
That would be pretty. That would be fun, especially with like we did the bookmark organization of all the
all your Fairy Loot ones.
Yeah, and I've got the Secret Project ones. I've got some others I could talk about for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And then I was watching a couple other tags that I might steal and get in there.
Okay. Yeah. So stuff coming up for sure. We're going to talk about things on our channels.
Could be fun.
Could be fun.
Could be fun.
So if that's something you're into, check out the other stuff on my channel. Check out Amanda Should Be Reading. As always, I hope your reading journey is going well. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Help us grow this corner of our BookTube community. And until the next one, take care.
Bye.
Bye.